During one particularly challenging training session, Alex faced off against Zarek in a combat exercise. Zarek was a formidable opponent, and Alex felt the pressure mounting. As the sparring match began, he remembered the council's words about strength and unity. The clash was intense, with each combatant pushing the other to their limits. Zarek's strength was overwhelming, but Alex focused on his agility, using his speed to evade and counter. The match was not just about defeating Zarek, but about understanding his approach and finding a way to connect. As the training continued, Jamie and Reyna noticed a shift in the Vornax. They began to see the humans not as weaklings, but as worthy allies. Conversations shifted from skepticism to camaraderie as they shared meals, stories, and laughter. The cultural exchange became a vital aspect of their training, allowing both sides to learn from one another. Yet, beneath the camaraderie, tensions simmered. There were still factions within the Vornax who believed that embracing the humans would be a sign of weakness. They plotted in the shadows, seeking to undermine the alliance. One evening, as the humans gathered with their Vornax counterparts for a joint training session, a group of dissenting Vornax soldiers approached them. "You think you can change our ways?" one soldier challenged, his eyes blazing with defiance. "You think we should soften our resolve for the likes of you?" Reyna stepped forward, her tone firm. "We are not asking you to change who you are. We are showing you a different way. Strength can exist without war, and together, we can create a better future." The dissenters scoffed, their disbelief evident. "You will never understand what it means to fight. You will fail, and when you do, the Council will see you for what you truly are, weak." As the tension escalated, Alex felt the weight of the moment. This was not just about proving themselves. It was about changing perceptions and building trust. They had to rise above the doubts and show the Vornax that strength lay in their unity. Determined to take a stand, Alex spoke up, addressing the group of dissenters. "We know that we are different, but that doesn't make us weak. We're here to learn, to grow, and to fight alongside you. But we cannot do that if you refuse to see us as equals." For a moment, silence hung in the air, and the dissenters exchanged uncertain glances. Then, Zarek stepped forward, a determined look on his face. "If you wish to prove your strength, then you must face the ultimate challenge. There will be a test of resolve, a battle against the Vornax elite." The humans exchanged glances, realizing the gravity of what was being proposed. This would be a trial that would test their skills and their unity like never before. They had to prepare, for this would be the moment that could determine the future of their alliance. As they trained harder than ever, Alex felt a fire igniting within him. They were no longer just humans afraid of war. They were warriors ready to prove their strength and forge a new path for their species. With their eyes set on the horizon, they prepared to face the gathering storm, determined to show the Vornax that strength could indeed be found in unity. The gathering storm. The day dawned bright and clear aboard the Vornax warship, but beneath the surface of that calm, a storm was brewing. The humans had made significant strides in building trust with the Vornax, yet deep divisions still existed among the Vornax people. Alex, Jamie, and Reyna sensed the growing tension as they prepared for the pivotal meeting with the Vornax Council, a gathering that could shape the fate of both species. In the days leading up to the council meeting, Alex and Jamie continued their training, pushing their limits and embracing the Vornax way of life. They had forged bonds with some of the Vornax trainees, who respected their determination and willingness to learn. Yet there were still skeptics who viewed the humans with disdain, convinced that their fear of war would lead to disaster. "Today is crucial," Reyna said as they gathered in their quarters to discuss the upcoming council meeting. "The council holds power, and their decision could either strengthen our alliance or shatter it completely." Alex nodded, feeling the weight of the moment. "What do we expect from the council? Will they listen to our perspective?" "Not all of them will," Reyna replied. "Some still see humans as weak. We must present our case clearly and show them that we can be allies, not enemies." Jamie felt a surge of determination. We can demonstrate our strength through collaboration. If we share our values and show them how we've grown, maybe they will understand. As they approached the council chamber, the atmosphere was charged with anticipation. The massive doors swung open, revealing a grand room filled with Vornax representatives, their expressions a mix of curiosity and skepticism. The council was an assembly of leaders from various clans, each with their own views on war and peace. Ambassador Threx stood at the forefront, ready to present the humans. Honored council members, I introduce our guests from Earth, Alex, Jamie, and Commander Reyna. They have proven themselves in both training and discussion, and they come to share their perspective on strength and peace. The council members regarded the humans with a mix of interest and disdain. One elder Vornax with silver scales, known as Elder Kale, spoke first. You humans speak of strength and peace, yet you fear war. How can we trust those who recoil from conflict? Alex stepped forward, heart racing but determined. We fear war because we understand its consequences. It brings suffering and loss, not just to the battlefield but to families and communities. We believe strength comes from our ability to protect and unite, not just to fight. Another council member, a fierce-looking Vornax named Zurich, snorted in disbelief. Your words are hollow. What proof do you have that your way is superior? Can you defend your ideals when faced with true danger? Allow us to show you, Jamie said, stepping into the light. Strength can be demonstrated through cooperation, not just combat. We invite you to witness our approach. We can train together, work as allies, and learn from one another. A murmur rippled through the council as they exchanged glances. Elder Kale stroked his chin thoughtfully. This is an intriguing proposal. But understand, if you fail to prove your worth, the consequences will be severe. We cannot afford to ally with those who lack strength. Reyna took a deep breath, her voice steady. We accept that challenge. We will train alongside you, face your trials, and demonstrate that strength lies in unity. Together, we can prepare for any threat that may arise. The council members conferred quietly, their expressions shifting between skepticism and curiosity. Finally, Elder Kale nodded. Very well. We shall allow this experiment, but be warned, we will not tolerate failure. The Vornax will train you rigorously, and we expect nothing less than your best. As the meeting concluded, the humans felt a mix of relief and apprehension. They had gained a small victory, but the path ahead remained treacherous. The council had agreed to their proposal, but the challenge of proving themselves to the Vornax loomed large. In the following weeks, the training intensified. The humans pushed their limits, taking on grueling exercises alongside the Vornax. They learned new techniques, strategies, and ways to harness their strengths as a team. Alex and Jamie found themselves growing closer, their shared struggles forging a bond that transcended their differences. The strength in understanding. The atmosphere aboard the Vornax warship was charged with anticipation as Alex, Jamie, and Commander Reyna prepared for the next phase of their mission. After successfully completing the obstacle course, they had earned the Vornax's respect. But Alex knew that words alone wouldn't guarantee peace. The true challenge lay ahead, and they had to navigate the delicate path of diplomacy carefully. Ambassador Threx summoned them to his quarters, a stark room adorned with intricate Vornax art and technology. A holographic map of the galaxy hovered above a sleek table, and the tension in the air was palpable. Your performance in the arena was impressive. Threx began, his tone formal. However, it is essential to understand that the Vornax value strength in all forms, not just physical. We will discuss the realities of war and why your people fear it. Reyna nodded, her posture confident. We are here to listen. Ambassador, please share your insights. Threx's eyes glimmered with intensity as he spoke. War has been a part of our history for millennia. It shapes our identity and tests our resolve. We have fought against enemies who sought to destroy us. Our survival depends on our strength, and we expect the same from those we encounter. Jamie leaned forward, intrigued. But does that not lead to a cycle of violence? If both sides only seek to prove their strength through war, when does it end? Perhaps, Frex acknowledged, but history teaches us that strength can foster respect, while weakness invites contempt. You humans fear war because you see the devastation it brings. However, there is also strength in standing firm, in defending what is yours. Alex thought about his own fears. He had always been taught that war brought nothing but suffering. But isn't there a way to achieve strength without resorting to violence? He asked. To find a balance between strength and peace. Frex regarded him thoughtfully. You speak of balance, yet how do you maintain it when faced with a real threat? Your fear of war shows your desire for peace, but you must recognize that not all species share your ideals. You must be ready to fight if necessary. Reyna interjected. We do not seek conflict, Ambassador. We believe in the power of diplomacy and understanding. If we can show the Vornax that we are not enemies, perhaps we can avoid war altogether. Frex's expression remained inscrutable, but Alex could sense a flicker of interest. To do so, you must understand our nature. There are those in the Vornax who will never accept peace. They see weakness as an opportunity. What if we could show your people that there is strength in unity? Jamie proposed, her voice steady. Together, we could create a new narrative, a partnership instead of rivalry. Frex paused, contemplating her words. You humans are optimistic, but optimism alone will not suffice. If you wish to convince my people, you must demonstrate your resolve in ways they understand. As the meeting concluded, Frex stood and gestured for them to follow him. I will show you our training facility. There you will witness our methods of strength and discipline. Alex and Jamie exchanged glances, realizing this was another opportunity to learn from the Vornax. They followed Frex through the corridors of the warship, the walls lined with technological marvels that felt both alien and awe-inspiring. The training facility was vast, echoing with the sounds of Vornax soldiers honing their skills. Alex watched in amazement as they executed complex maneuvers with precision and power. The display of strength was impressive, but Alex couldn't shake the feeling of unease. Look at them, Jamie whispered, her voice filled with a mix of admiration and concern. They train relentlessly, but at what cost? It's their way of life, Alex replied, unable to look away from the Vornax. But it doesn't have to be ours. We can learn from them without embracing their methods. As they observed, Frex approached a group of trainees, instructing them with authority. Strength is not just physical, it is mental and emotional as well. You must be prepared to face the worst, to endure, and to conquer your fears. Reyna interjected, it's not naivety, it's a belief in the strength of understanding. We are willing to listen and learn. Frex paused, his glowing eyes narrowing as he considered their words. If you seek to understand, then you must prove it. We have lost many to conflicts with lesser species. How do you plan to avoid making the same mistakes? The tension in the air thickened as the three humans stood before the powerful Vornax ambassador. Alex felt the weight of their mission pressing down on him. He took a deep breath and spoke with conviction. By respecting each other's cultures and finding common ground, by approaching this not as enemies but as potential allies. Frex regarded him with a mixture of skepticism and intrigue. You speak of respect, yet you enter our territory unarmed. You place your fate in our hands. We place our trust in dialogue, Jamie said, her voice firm. If we are to build a future together, it must start with trust. A moment of silence passed, the ambassador's gaze unwavering. Finally, he spoke. You are brave to come here, but bravery is not enough. If you wish to continue this conversation, you must demonstrate your commitment. We will arrange a challenge, a test of your resolve and strategy. Alex exchanged glances with Jamie and Reyna, uncertainty washing over him. What kind of challenge? Reyna asked. An obstacle course designed to test your abilities. If you succeed, I will consider your offer for peace. If you fail, You will leave without the chance for further discussion, Threx declared. Very well, Reyna replied, her voice steady despite the pressure. We accept your challenge. As they prepared for the test, Alex's heart raced. This was not what he had anticipated, but it was an opportunity to prove their intentions. He felt a surge of determination. They would face this challenge head-on, not just to survive, but to show the Vornax that humans were capable of understanding and strength. The challenge was set in a vast arena, surrounded by towering walls of metal and strange alien technology. The atmosphere crackled with tension as the Vornax gathered to watch. Alex and his team stood at the starting line, ready to face whatever obstacles awaited them. Remember, this is more than just a test of skill, Reyna reminded them. It's a chance to show our resilience and determination. As the signal sounded, they surged forward, adrenaline coursing through their veins. Each obstacle represented a different aspect of strength, physical endurance, strategic thinking, and teamwork. They faced daunting hurdles, puzzles that tested their minds, and challenges that pushed them to their limits. With every obstacle they overcame, Alex felt their bond strengthen. He realized that this challenge was not just about proving themselves to the Vornax. It was about reaffirming their own beliefs in their capacity for understanding and strength. The challenge was tough, but together they pushed through, refusing to give up. As they approached the final test, Alex could see the eyes of the Vornax audience watching them intently. He felt the weight of their expectations, but instead of fear, he felt a surge of hope. They crossed the finish line, breathless but victorious. As they stood there, panting and exhausted, Threx approached them, a hint of approval in his eyes. You have shown courage and tenacity, he declared. Perhaps there is more to your kind than I first believed. Alex's heart raced with anticipation. This was their chance. We hope to prove that strength can be found in understanding and collaboration, he replied. The ambassador nodded slowly, his expression softening. You have gained my respect today. We will continue this dialogue. As they walked away from the arena, Alex felt a wave of relief wash over him. They had taken the first step toward building a bridge between their worlds. The clouds of war had not dissipated, but perhaps, just perhaps, they have found a glimmer of the first contact. With every passing day, the tension grew thicker in New Haven. News of the Vornax fleet's approach dominated the media, filling the city with unease. People rushed to prepare for the worst, gathering supplies and reinforcing their homes. As fear spread, Alex felt his heart weigh heavier. He had hoped for a peaceful resolution, but reality was forcing the idea of war closer and closer. Alex and Jamie continued their training at the EDF, focusing on both combat skills and diplomatic strategies. Each session became more intense as they prepared for the possibility of encountering the Vornax. The recruits often debated among themselves about the best course of action, and many felt strongly that a show of force was the only way to make an impact. One afternoon, Commander Reyna gathered everyone for an important announcement. Listen up, everyone, she began, her voice steady yet urgent. We have received communication from the Vornax. They are requesting a meeting to discuss terms of engagement. Gasps filled the room, and Alex felt his heart race. This was the moment he had been waiting for. However, Reyna continued, we must be cautious. The Vornax are known for their cunning and have not been truthful in the past. I will be leading a small team to represent Earth at the meeting. Alex, Jamie, you both will accompany me. Alex's heart soared. We're really going to meet them, he whispered to Jamie, who nodded, equally stunned. Yes, Reyna confirmed. We must approach with care and ensure our message of peace is clear. Prepare yourselves. We leave at dawn. That night, sleep evaded Alex as excitement and anxiety battled within him. He wondered what the Vornax would look like and how they would react to Earth's representatives. Would they see them as a threat or as potential allies? He recalled stories of Vornax warriors, tall, fierce beings with advanced technology and a reputation for ruthlessness. As dawn broke, Alex, Jamie, and Commander Reyna stood in front of the EDF shuttle, which would take them to the designated meeting point, a neutral zone in space, far from Earth. The atmosphere buzzed with anticipation as they boarded the shuttle, and the engines roared to life. During the flight, Reyna briefed them on their roles. "Remember, our aim is to understand their perspective. We must be prepared to listen as much as we speak," she said, her eyes locked on theirs. "Stay focused, and don't let fear cloud your judgment." The shuttle sped through the stars, and soon they arrived at the neutral zone. The vastness of space surrounded them, a blanket of stars twinkling in the darkness. Ahead, a massive Vornax warship loomed, its metallic surface gleaming ominously in the distant light. As they docked, Alex felt a rush of nerves. "What if they don't want to listen?" he whispered to Jamie. "We'll never know unless we try," she replied, squeezing his hand for reassurance. They stepped onto the docking bay, and a tall figure emerged to greet them. The Vornax ambassador was imposing, towering over them with an intimidating presence. His skin shimmered in shades of deep green and silver, and his eyes glowed with an unsettling intensity. "I am Ambassador Threx of the Vornax," he announced, his voice deep and resonant. "You come to discuss terms. We will see if you are worthy of our respect." Commander Reyna stepped forward, maintaining a calm demeanor. "Thank you for meeting with us, Ambassador. We wish to discuss a peaceful resolution and avoid conflict. Our people seek to understand your concerns." Threx studied them closely, his expression unreadable. "You humans fear us, yet you approach our fleet without weapons. Why?" "We believe in the power of dialogue," Reyna responded. "We understand that there are misunderstandings between our species, and we want to address them." The ambassador seemed to consider her words carefully. "You humans are different than what I expected. But know this, the Vornax do not forgive weakness. Show us your strength." Alex felt his pulse quicken. This was the moment they had prepared for. He stepped forward, his voice steady. "Ambassador, we are not here to show our strength through weapons. We want to show that we can coexist and learn from one another. War will only lead to loss on both sides." A flicker of surprise crossed Threx's face, but he quickly masked it. "You believe you can change the course of history with words alone. How naive." In the storm, days turned into a blur of training, briefings, and planning sessions. The EDF soldiers drilled tirelessly, preparing for any outcome. Commander Reyna organized special training exercises focused on negotiation tactics, emphasizing the need for resilience in the face of fear. One afternoon, during a break between drills, Alex noticed a group of soldiers gathered around a holoscreen watching the news. He approached, curiosity piqued. "The Vornax are mobilizing even more ships," a soldier said grimly. "They're showing no signs of backing down." Another soldier scoffed. "What do we have to show for it? A weak fleet and a bunch of ideals. They'll laugh at us if we try to negotiate." Alex felt a surge of frustration. "We can't just give up. We have to believe in our ability to create change. Fighting won't solve anything if we don't understand why they're angry." The soldiers shrugged, dismissing his words. Disheartened, Alex walked away. He felt alone in his desire for peace, while others were consumed by fear. One evening, Alex found himself in the training gym, hitting the punching bag to release his pent-up frustration. Each strike echoed his thoughts: fear, uncertainty, and the need to fight for what he believed in. As he trained, memories of his grandfather's stories resurfaced, reminding him of the cost of war. "Alex, why are you so focused?" A familiar voice broke through his thoughts. It was Jamie, joining him in the gym. "You've been training hard. What's on your mind?" "I'm just thinking about the Vornax and how much I wish we could understand them," he admitted, pausing to catch his breath. "I believe we can find a way to avoid war, but no one seems to want to listen." Jamie frowned. "I get it, but it's hard to convince people when they're scared. Fear can make us act irrationally." "I know," Alex sighed. "But if we don't try, we'll never know." Maybe if we show them our strengths, they'll see we aren't a threat. We could lead with our hearts instead of our weapons. Maybe you're right, she said thoughtfully. But it's going to take a lot more than just good intentions. We need a plan. With newfound determination, Alex and Jamie spent the next few days preparing a proposal for Commander Reyna. They drafted strategies for a peace delegation, emphasizing the need for dialogue. As they worked, their bond grew stronger, both united by a common goal. Finally, the day arrived for their presentation. Alex's heart raced as he stood before Reyna and the senior officers again. He shared their vision, outlining how they could approach the Vornax with understanding and compassion. To his surprise, Reyna listened intently. "Your passion is commendable," she said after he finished. "While I admire your courage, we must be realistic. The Vornax are formidable opponents. Are you prepared for the possibility that they might reject our offers?" Alex took a deep breath. "I understand, Commander. But we can't afford to let fear control our decisions. If we don't try, we'll never know what could have been." Reyna nodded slowly, a glimmer of respect in her eyes. "I will consider your proposal, but we must also prepare for the worst. As we move forward, keep training. The clouds are gathering, and we must be ready for whatever comes next." As the meeting ended, Alex felt a mix of hope and apprehension. The clouds of war were closing in, but he remained determined to seek understanding. With Jamie by his side, he vowed to fight not only with strength but with empathy, hoping to bridge the gap between worlds before the storm broke. "You said," Reyna raised an eyebrow, surprised but intrigued. "You want to train for diplomacy instead of warfare." "Yes, Mom," Alex replied. "I believe we should prepare for negotiation, as well as combat. Understanding our enemies could help us avoid war." Reyna considered his words. "You have a point, Alex. I'll discuss it with the other leaders." Feeling the surge of hope, Alex returned to his training group, ready to share his thoughts with Jamie. As he spoke, he felt a sense of purpose building within him. He realized that fear could either hold people back or motivate them to strive for change. He wanted to be part of that change. As the days passed, the threat of war loomed larger, but Alex felt a newfound determination. The calm before the storm was thick with tension, but he refused to be paralyzed by fear. He would face whatever came next with courage and strength, hoping to find a way to protect his world without resorting to violence. In the end, it was not just about fear. It was about finding strength and understanding, and Alex was determined to lead the way. The gathering clouds. As the days rolled on, the atmosphere in New Haven grew heavier with the threat of war. The citizens were anxious, whispering about the Vornax and their ominous plans. While some hoped for peace, others were quick to advocate for a show of strength. Fear was palpable in every corner of the city, like a dark cloud hovering just above their heads. In the EDF headquarters, Commander Reyna called an emergency meeting of senior officers and key recruits. The room was tense, filled with the hum of worried voices. Alex sat in the back, feeling small among seasoned leaders who had faced dangers far beyond his imagination. Jamie, sitting beside him, whispered, "Do you think they'll discuss a plan for peace?" "I hope so," Alex replied. "But we need to be realistic about the Vornax." Reyna entered the room, and the chatter faded into silence. Her eyes swept across the gathered officers, and she spoke with authority. "Thank you all for coming on such short notice. We have received alarming intelligence reports. The Vornax have increased their fleet size and are preparing for a possible attack." A murmur spread through the room. Alex's heart sank. The news was worse than he had feared. "I've called this meeting to discuss our options," Reyna continued. "While some may feel we should strike first, I believe we must consider every possibility. We cannot forget the importance of diplomacy." "But Commander," interrupted Colonel Rivas, a stern officer known for his aggressive tactics, "how can we negotiate with an enemy like the Vornax? They have never shown any willingness to talk." Reyna held her ground. "That's precisely why we must try. If we rush into battle, we risk losing more than just lives. We could lose our chance for peace. Alex felt a spark of hope ignite within him. This was what he had suggested, and now he saw the chance to speak up. Commander, if we approach the Vornax with respect and understanding, we might be able to find common ground. Perhaps we can show them that humans seek peace, not war. A few heads turned in surprise. Reyna nodded slowly, considering his words. You make a valid point, Alex. Understanding can be a powerful tool, but we must be cautious. The Vornax are unpredictable. After the meeting, Alex felt both encouraged and anxious. He had shared his thoughts in front of the officers, but the fear of war loomed large. He sought Jamie in the hallway, eager to discuss what had just transpired. Did you hear that? Commander Reyna is open to exploring diplomatic options, he said, his voice filled with excitement. Yeah, but will it be enough? Jamie replied, concern etched on her face. What if the Vornax don't want to listen? I don't know, Alex admitted, but we have to try. I want to believe there's still a chance for peace. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the city, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that the calm before the storm was about to break. The tension was thick, and he felt it in his bones. The calm before the storm. On a bright morning, the sun shone brightly over the bustling city of New Haven. People hurried through the streets, going about their daily lives. In the heart of this city stood the headquarters of the Earth Defense Force, EDF, where young recruits trained to protect their home from any threat. Among them was Alex, a young officer with dreams of heroism and a heart full of fear. Alex had always wanted to serve in the EDF. Ever since he was a child, he listened to stories of brave men and women who defended Earth against alien invasions. He admired their courage, but never fully understood the weight of their decisions. Now, as he stood in front of the EDF headquarters, he felt a mix of excitement and dread. Hey, Alex, are you ready for training today? Called his friend, Jamie, who approached with a wide smile. She was full of energy, her enthusiasm contagious. Yeah, I'm ready, Alex replied, though his heart raced at the thought of what lay ahead. Training had become more intense in recent weeks as rumors of a looming threat spread through the ranks. The EDF had received alarming reports about a powerful alien race known as the Vornax. They were known for their ruthless tactics and advanced technology, and many feared they were preparing for war. As they entered the training facility, Alex noticed a group of senior officers gathered in a corner, their faces serious and tense. The atmosphere felt heavy, and Alex couldn't shake the feeling that something big was about to happen. Let's focus on our drills, Jamie suggested, trying to lighten the mood. They joined their fellow recruits for physical training, but Alex's mind wandered. He thought about the Vornax and what a war against them would mean for Earth. He had heard stories from his parents about past wars, how they left families torn apart and cities in ruins. The thought of such devastation scared him. After training, the recruits gathered in the main hall for a briefing. Commander Reyna, a seasoned leader with years of experience, stood at the front. Her presence commanded respect, and her eyes scanned the crowd. Listen up, everyone, she said, her voice strong. We have some important news. Our intelligence reports indicate that the Vornax are mobilizing their forces. We cannot ignore this threat. The EDF must be prepared for any potential conflict. A murmur ran through the crowd. Fear and uncertainty filled the air. Alex felt his stomach drop. He looked at Jamie, who wore a worried expression. Do you think it's really going to come to war? She whispered. I hope not, Alex replied, trying to sound brave. But we need to be ready. Commander Reyna continued. We will be holding emergency drills and simulations. It's crucial that we work together and build our skills. If war is upon us, we must show strength and unity. As the briefing ended, recruits filed out, each lost in their thoughts. Alex felt a sense of unease. War was not just a distant threat. It was becoming a reality. The weight of responsibility pressed down on him, and he wondered if he was truly prepared for what lay ahead. Days turned into weeks, and the tension in New Haven grew. News reports filled the screens with warnings about the Vornax. Citizens began to express their fears openly. Some called for action, while others pleaded for peace. Alex watched the debates unfold, feeling torn. He wanted to protect his home, but he also understood the horrors of war. In a crowded cafe, Alex sat with Jamie, who scrolled through her holo-tablet, reading the latest updates. "Look at this," she said, pointing to a headline. "Vornax forces gather at the edge of the solar system. They're getting closer. Do you think we should be worried?" Alex asked, trying to keep his voice steady. "Definitely," Jamie replied. "But I believe we can handle it. We just need to train hard and trust our leaders." That night, as Alex lay in bed, he stared at the ceiling, unable to sleep. He thought about his family, his friends, and the life he wanted to protect. He remembered his grandfather's stories about the wars that had come before, how fear had often led to conflict. "I can't let that happen again," he whispered to himself. He made a decision. He would fight for peace, even if it meant facing his fears head-on. The next day, Alex approached Commander Reyna after the morning briefing. "Commander, I'd like to suggest we focus on strategies for peace during our drills," he said, his voice steadied despite his racing heart.